Hey everyone, it's Oliver Hinson from DyeStat, bringing you another episode of DyeStat Shorts. We're here with TJ Hansen, who just broke four at running lane and is going to be running at HOKA Festival of Miles next week. First, let's talk about that HOKA race. That's going to be just an insane field. Maybe one of the best high school races, probably the best high school mile race of all time. There's six guys that have broken four this calendar year, including you, and they're all in this race. How does it feel to be a part of that field?
It's definitely special because history is going to go down, but just staying mentally prepared going into that, keeping my training consistent because I know I'm going to have my hands full going into that. And even though I broke four, the goal right now is just to compete and win because I know if I win, the time will come with it.
hmm It's funny you mentioned that. This race is always one, or at least for the last few years, it's one that goes out pretty fast. Like this, the winner has been sub 3:58 the last 3 years. But like you said, your mentality is winning, and that's what we've heard from a lot of other guys. Do you feel like there's any possibility that this turns into kind of a tactical race?
Not with the Pacers. Pacers are taking us through 1200, so I can't see it turning tactical. Like Arcadia was like that because there's not a pacer, but I think in a pace race like this, it's going to string out and Bell Lap, it's just all going to go down.
That's fair enough. Yeah. I mean, it definitely could see it playing out that way. How are you feeling? Let's talk about your training a little bit. Like you said, you got to stay mentally prepared, physically prepared coming into this race. What's training been looking like the last couple weeks?
It's been a lot of volume over the past few months. I've just been building and building every single week. So now I've begun to taper. Last week was my first week of starting to cut down. So I'm progressively feeling more and more fresh. So I'm really looking forward to kind of getting the legs spinning at Festival of Miles.
hmm And your legs were certainly spinning last week at running lane. Broke four, 3:59:02. Take me a little bit through that race. Take me through lap by lap.
Yeah, I was feeling really good throughout the race. I was just kind of I would peek at the clock every 200 just to see if we were still clicking off those sub 30s. Then once I saw we were 259 at Bell Lap, I was just kind of telling myself to stay as relaxed as possible because I knew I just had to have a decent close and I'd have it. Then me and Corbin, we were both chatting about it after. We both saw 328 with 200 to go. So I think we both knew that we just had to finish the race and we'd go sub four. So that was definitely exciting. But I think recently I've been trying to put it behind me because I know that it doesn't matter going into Festival Miles. Like you said, we got six sub four guys. So I think it's completely irrelevant.
Yeah, a rule that I've heard a lot of people talk about is like the 24-hour rule. No matter whether it's a good or bad race, just give yourself 24 hours to celebrate or mourn and then just move on. How long do you think you gave yourself to celebrate that achievement?
I'd say probably like 2 or 3 days. It was over a decade in the making for me wanting to break four. So it was definitely kind of hard to come down off of that, cloud nine. But I need to kind of stay in that right mentality going into Festival of Miles because, like I said, no matter how good you are, you're gonna have your hands full and it's gonna be a competitive race.
Mhm. Tell me a little bit about that. This is something that I've heard you say. You said you've been dreaming about this for 10 years now. So like since you were seven, pretty much.
Yeah.
A lot of 7-year-olds out there are thinking about becoming firefighters or astronauts. Why was 7-year-old TJ Hansen thinking about breaking four in the mile?
I don't know. I feel like I've just been educated about the sport for a really young age. I saw Grant Fisher do it back in 2014, 2015. So, about a decade ago. So that was kind of what motivated me to be like, that's where I need to be my senior year. Just from a really young age, I understood that and I understood what it meant. So to just see it all get pieced together, it was really special. 10 years of work put together in less than 4 minutes is just, it's kind of crazy to just look back on.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Ten years of work in 4 minutes. It all seems pretty fleeting.
Yeah.
What kind of influences did you have in your early life growing up that kind of led you to running and taking it seriously?
Both my older sisters were runners. Both my parents were runners. So, well, my dad was a thrower. My mom ran the 400. So it was kind of weird mix, but both my older sisters were distance runners. So that kind of got me into it. Then, I don't know, saw kind of like learned about Steve Prefontaine. That was pretty big in my childhood growing up. then, like Grant Fisher was in high school around the time I got into the sport. So just those kind of influential people just motivated me, and I saw a vision that I could be like them or better, and that's my goal, to just keep moving forward.
Does a sub 4 mile make you the best athlete in your family?
I would say so, yeah.
Now, one of the things you broke 410 by my count 10 times before breaking four. What allowed you to put it all together and finally break through at running lane?
I just needed to learn how to close that last 400. A lot of my races where I ran, a bunch of times I ran 403 and 404. You look at my splits and I closed in 62 for my last 400. So I just tank off that last, 600, 400. So this time I was actually able to close. I think my last 400 was like a 50, 57 ish. So it was nice to kind of turn the legs over and, not tank off, which is kind of crazy that it was a 5 second PR, and those 5 seconds really came all in that bell lap.
Yeah. Did you, coming into that belt lap, did you feel like kind of fresh? Like, I mean, well, obviously not fresh. You're 1200 into a 4 minute race, but did you feel kind of better than you had in previous races?
Yeah, I felt better and I felt a lot more confident going into it, staying with Corbin. Corbin and I were both pushing to get it. Then, like I said, 200 to go, we saw 328, and we both knew we just had to push, and we had it.
Hmm. And tell me a little bit about, you said you felt like your beat started beginning to taper. You felt pretty fresh
Yeah.
coming into this race. Now I'm a runner myself, and I know I have my own perspective on this, but I want to know what are some little things that you kind of notice about training and even in daily life, like when you're in that taper. What are some things you notice about how you feel?
For me, it's been my easy run paces have kind of slowly dropped, and I've just been feeling a lot better. So usually I might go like 650 for an easy run, and now I've been coasting like 620. So I can say my easy runs have felt a lot easier at a faster pace. So I'd say that was kind of a good indicator that something special was going to happen. And a few weeks before that, I had like a 2.5 second PR in the 800, and I went 151 high solo, which for me, I don't really have that good of foot speed normally. So that was pretty good indicator that I knew I was fresh and something was going to happen.
Yeah, how big of a confidence boost was that, 151 race?
Yeah, it was solo, so I knew I definitely could have gone a lot faster in a fast race. So I knew I had the foot speed, I had the turnover, so I could make something happen on that bell lap, which is what I needed to go sub four.
Hmm. Now, what is training going to look like over the next few weeks, heading into HOKA, heading into nationals? Like now that you're starting to taper, what are some kind of things? How does it change for you?
Yeah, I'm just starting to dial in the foot speed, switching from intervals to repeats, so a lot faster reps but longer rests instead of, a little bit slower but shorter rests or jog rests. So gonna switch from intervals to repeats and just get the turnover going, because I've been building base for months now, so I know that's already in the bank, ready to go. So I just need to get my foot speed tuned up.
Hmm. All those, indoor races. I think indoor season you were pretty close to sub four, like 4 or 5 times. Did you were you kind of going through knowing the whole time, like when I'm fresh, I'll be able to do it?
Yeah, I kept telling myself that, and it was really frustrating because I kept running 403 and 404 just back to back to back to back. But I had to realize I was doing it while building. So every single week I was, building mileage, building volume, and still running the same. So in the back of my mind, I just had to keep telling myself when I taper, it's going to happen. And as frustrating as it was to keep saying that for months and months and months, it was relieving to have it finally pay off.
What do you think was the most frustrating race where you came close to four but didn't break it?
Most frustrating race. Probably Milrose games. I went 404 mid, but I closed in 62.5. So I was feeling pretty good. I think I was on four flat pace through 1K and just kind of tanked off. And I'd say that was probably my most frustrating shot at sub four that I did get.
Hmm. I mean, that's a national stage.
Yeah.
Seemed like a great time to do it, and just didn't happen.
Yeah.
But now all your next few races are going to be kind of national stage races.
Yeah.
like you said, you're trying to stay mentally prepared for those. What's kind of the mindset going into HOKA, going into nationals, like these big stakes races?
Yeah, I mean, I always kind of tell myself I'm the best, and you know what? I might not win, I might win, but I just need to have that mentality that I go in and I know I can make something happen. So that's kind of mindset. Carlson always tells me race to win and the time will come with it. This is a race where if I win, I know I'm going to run a fast time because I have no doubt the winner will go 355 or lower. Everyone expects it. It's being hyped up for that. All of us know it, and we're going to go for it.
355. That's a. I mean, hey, I'm not doubting that at all, but that would be the fastest since Alan Webb, I think. That would be a really, really, really insane race.
There's
Um,
there's a lot of things that go into Festival of Miles that kind of add some seconds that you might not normally see in other races. Atmosphere, hype. Pacers, like I said, through 1200. Usually they stop at 800, but they're going to take us through 75% of the race, which is absolutely huge. So it's going to be a dogfight on Bell Lap, and we all know that.
Absolutely. I'm glad you touched on Sean Carlson. We'll talk a little bit about Colorado. How excited are you to join that program in the fall?
I'm pumped. It's such a great group of guys we're going in with. Me, Keegan, Trey, and Jack. I mean, I'm rooming with Keegan, and we've known each other. We've been racing each other since we were 10 years old. So to kind of see that fall in together, and we're going to be college roommates now and train every day. It's crazy, and I have such a good relationship with all the other guys. We're absolutely pumped to get into Boulder and get to work.
Totally. And Colorado obviously has a history of being a really dominant distance program, but right now, in cross country, I think they were fourth or fifth at Big 12s. And in track, they haven't done super well. So it's definitely kind of they're in a rebuilding phase. But I mean, Sean Carlson, as we've seen, has rebuilt plenty of programs kind of from the ground up. And within a few years, they've been in really, really good spots. Where in your mind do you think you guys are going to be in like, a year or two, then the year after that? How quickly do you think that development is going to happen?
The expectations of national title, we all know that. That's our goal. I trust Carlson. I know he can change a program, like you said. He's done it before. He took Tennessee from one of the worst teams in the SEC to a powerhouse. So I know that he can get us there. He did it with Yared. He did it with Dylan Jacobs. And if I didn't believe in him, I wouldn't have switched to Colorado. I've seen what he did with Dylan. There's a reason Dylan followed him from Notre Dame to Tennessee, and it's the same reason I followed him from Tennessee to Colorado, because I know he can make us the best.
Is it, what about Coach Carlson? Is it his coaching philosophy or how he treats athletes? What about Coach Carlson's style do you really like?
It's kind of like I don't want to say strict, but we're always locked in. We don't party, we don't drink, we don't do any of that. We get our sleep, we focus, we stay healthy, and that's what it takes to be a champion. That's the expectation, and if you can't follow that expectation, don't come to Colorado. That's really kind of what I have to say. If you want to be a champion, you want to live and breathe the sport and have fun with a great group of guys while doing it, it's the right place for you.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of your thing by any means necessary. As we saw last year at NXR, crawl across the line by any means necessary. You'll do what it takes.
Yeah, you got
I
to
think
you got to be all in. It's kind of motto to go by.
absolutely. Last couple things here. I mean, first of all, I want to know: are you out of school right now? Has
I
school ended for you guys?
finished up last week, so graduate tomorrow.
Congratulations! It's got to be exciting.
Yep. Thank you.
Really, really exciting time for you. You just broke 4. You're graduating high school. Gonna race in some really fast races. I mean, your headspace has got to be in a crazy place right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy kind of 2 weeks with Festival of Miles, Brooks PR, graduation, just coming off sub 4. So it's kind of touching on that mindset. Need to stay locked in though.
Absolutely. Well, good luck at HOKA. Good luck at all the rest of your races. Looking forward to see your performances. And thanks for joining me here on another episode of DyeStat Discussions. Once again, this is Oliver Hinson of DyeStat here with TJ Hansen, bringing you another episode.
Thanks for
Thanks for
having me. I
joining us.
appreciate it.